So hybrid system, and also the system that we do is hybrid as well. Hybrid means, okay, we mix different kind of energy, solar and biogas. Again, here as well, solar in this project was photovoltaic and biogas, so hybrid system. This one was for electrification, while in our case it's for thermal, but more or less the approach will be the same. Well, a quick background, we all know, I will be quick here, we all know that there are many places in the world there is no access to electricity, so this project was about, okay, let's find out what are the best combinations for a given context. Obviously there's not a single solution, the solution changes depending on the location. What is the best solution for India to provide electricity? So a little bit, the idea was hybrid anaerobic digestion and photovoltaic system for the context what was a small, very small village in West Bengal, 45 houses. Which technology? Solar and biomass, meaning biogas.
Dr. David,
yes,
excuse me.
I will be quick.
Dr. Mohammed Amman, can you translate for the students? Sure. Brief.
Dr. David is showing his previous project about the topic of biogas research, and one of his projects was in دكتور دافيد بيعرض شغله في مجال البايوجاز، بحث ابحاث البايوجاز، ومن احد المشاريع اللي هو شارك فيها قبل كده مشروعه كان بالاضافه ان هو ساهم في انشاء وحدات بايوجاز في امريكا الجنوبيه. احد المشاريع اللي هو شارك فيها كان مشروع في الهند، هو عباره عن دمج تاني، هو عباره عن توليد الكهرباء باستخدام البايوجاز مع الفوتوفولتيك مع الخلايا الضوئيه الشمسيه. فهو ده خلاصه الموضوع.
6 months maybe I will speak some. Schematic. So the design helps. Okay, so this was the schema. This was the result. This is the result of all the project of the process that I will show. So the basic idea is, okay, how big this is. We have a village, so how much energy we need to provide. This is the first step, and then around this first step you design the rest elements. So the question is how big this, and how big this, and obviously, well, it depends how expensive they are. This is the approach we use. We try to find the combination that provide electricity at the lowest cost. The other step is what are the waste in the community. Okay, in that case there were a lot of aquatic weeds. Okay, so we can bring this for some waste like animal manure and food. We know already how much gas it produces. It's literature. For some strange like this, we can test in the lab. So we tested in the lab and we see how much gas that plant it produces. Unfortunately, it was not producing much gas, so we just used the usual one. Yes.
So عشان يولد غاز حيوي هو حاول يجرب. ده الرسمه اللي بتوضح فكره المشروع. هو عباره عن صوره الخلايا الشمسيه في الشمال زي ما انتم شايفين فوق، موصله ببطاريات لعمليه التخزين بتاعت الكهرباء، وفي وحده البايوجاز او الغاز الحيوي تحت اهي بتتكون من تانك بيتم فيه عمليه تحويل المخلفات لغاز الميثان اللي بيستخدم بعد كده في جنريتور. الجنريتور ده قد يكون ديزل، قد يكون توربينه صغيره بتولد الكهرباء، وبعد كده في كنترولر بيوفق الكهرباء المتولده من السولار مع الكهرباء المتولده من الغاز الحيوي، وبعد كده بتحولها مثلا من دي سي لاي سي، يقدر يغذي القريه اللي موجوده في.
بس واضح كده بتعمل 45 فيلا.
45 شخص.
45 بيت يعني.
45 بيت.
Called village, and I will say later only for light, television, fan. Stop. No microwave, no freezer, no air conditioning. Very basic. It's very small system.
هو جرب مكونات حيويه كتير عشان يشغل السيستم بتاعه ويشوف احسن حاجه تديله كفاءه في الشغل، بالاضافه يكون متاحه في البلد اللي هو بيركب فيها النظام ده. هو جرب مخلفات الحيوانات وجرب مخلفات الطعام، بالاضافه للنباتات دي موجوده في المكان اللي هو بيمشي فيه.
هم كمان عندهم داتا عن المخلفات. المخلفات دي في عندهم داتا، لكن الحاجات الجديده اللي راح اشوفها في الهند زي الحاجات اللي تحت دي، النباتات دي ما عندهمش داتا عليها، فكان لازم ياخد منها عينات ويختبرها ويقول دي بتطلع
And how was it?
Good translation. Third steps, this it will be brief, but there is a program, Home Energy, maybe you know some of you, simple to use, and we use that for feasibility study, not for final. For me, I'm able to use that because then obviously this is electrical engineering and it requires more details. But for an initial study, Home, what it does, it allows you to compare the different combination. It allows to say, shall we do just photovoltaic and battery? Shall we just do digestion, or is better to do all together? And then, obviously, I won't go in details, but the outcome of the simulation is the cost of electricity, okay? So if we use just photovoltaic and battery, the cost of electricity is this. This was another storage more expensive, another kind of battery. If we just use biogas and generation, we have this kind of cost we can expect, and this the difference is the different kind of generator can be micro gas turbine, CHP, etc. And this is if we have photovoltaic and biogas all together. So an indication that it's better to combine the two together. Okay? And why? Because obviously this is what happens. This is basically what happens during the night. So the blue one is the load. This is the okay. The blue one is the electrical load in the house. Okay, so during midday there is a peak in the load because maybe people go home to eat, and so there is a load. And then again for dinner there is a load very high. So during midday, the photovoltaic is able to supply. This is the photovoltaic output. The battery is sorry guys. The battery is this one goes down during the night and then it's recharged again by the photovoltaic and by the microturbine. So basically, what happens is that during the night we can just turn on the biogas, and this is the idea of the hybrid. What we will do in the project here. When the sun is not shining, basically we turn on the biogas. Okay, and we turn it on also if there is a spike, a very peak, very high. Okay, we turn it on as well. I need biogas. Is turning.
battery. You have a lot of batteries here in this figure, so it's
okay. That's it. And then there was this one very complicated. Translated. Sorry.
just a moment.
Yes.
الكيرف اللي هو بالازرق ده بيوضح الحمل بتاع استهلاك الكهرباء في القريه اللي هو اشتغل فيها. فزي ما انتم شايفين الساعه 12 في الظهر هو عايز اكتر كميه كهرباء بالاضافه للساعه بعد الساعه 6 بشويه. فده الوقت اللي الناس بتكون فيها في بيوتها وتلاقي تستخدم الاجهزه اللي هو درسها.
احنا ما عندناش كده. عندنا كده
هو الساعه 12 دي يقدر يغطيها بالفوتوفولتايك سيستم، لانها وقت شمس السطحه بتبقى اكتر ما يمكن. لكن بالليل بدل ما يعتمد على البطاريه هيشتغل بايه؟ بالكهرباء المتولده من الغاز الحيوي. ودي فكره النموذج الهجين من دوله الطاقه اللي هي تمثل تقريبا نفس فكرتنا، بس احنا بنستخدم سولار سيرمال، يعني بنولد طاقه حراريه بدل طاقه عشان احنا عايزين الطاقه دي عشان تحليه الميه مش توليد كهرباء.
حمل الميه اختلف
تمام.
This is very detailed, but we can be quick. Is just we simulate on top of that. The message is that we simulate also the digester, which is my specialty. So once we know from here, we just know how much biogas we need to put in the micro turbine on the CHP. So gas, but then this gas we need to produce it. So obviously what will happen is that there will be period of the year when you need to produce more gas, and so we need, the model helps us to see how much gas we can produce with a digester and with the substrate. So that would be the final step. Okay, that's, you can stop here. And we can, these are the output of the simulation, and obviously this one, anyway, complicated to explain, but we simulate also the biogas production. And this is the final installation based on the system. So we have volume of the digester, how much kilogram per day of biomass, the power output of biogas, power output of photovoltaic, total energy storage, and obviously you see that the demand, electrical demand, is very low, 5.5 kilowatt hour. So very low.
الجدول ده مهم جدا، وهو ده النتيجه اللي توصل منها الدراسه بتاعته، اللي هو الغرض منها هو ان انت تعمل سيستم باقل تكلفه ممكنه. يعني هي دراسه اقتصاديه بالاضافه ان هي دراسه ايه؟ تقنيه. فهو لما جاء عمل الدراسه دي ولقى ان احسن سيستم او اقل تكلفه هيديله 25 متر مكعب للوحده بتاعه الغاز الحيوي اللي هيحصل فيها توليد غاز الميثان. وهيحتاج 14 متر مكعب من هينتج 14 متر مكعب من الغاز الحيوي يوميا. بالاضافه انه البي في بانل هتولد 5 كيلو وات، والماكسيمم بيك لود بتاع الكهرباء بتاعه او اقصى حمل الكهرباء طبعا بيتغطى 5.5 كيلو، والمتوسط 2.7. والحاجات اللي هو هيستخدمها 2 انسايد لايت، يعني لمبتين كهرباء ومروحه وسوكت كهرباء. هي دي الحاجات اللي هتوجد في كل بيت من ايه 45.
This was the digester that was finally built in India. Okay, so the usual digester, feeding tank, digester, and this is just for collection of gas. When there is the gas, it goes. It's a classic Indian design. Okay, very common in India. So that's it. That was the outcomes of this project, and okay, it was a long introduction to say that this project was the father, let's say, the brother, the elder brother of this project, says that we've done similar thing of hybrid system. So now I can go with our biosoil. Okay? Should I continue? Yes.
Yes, please. هو دلوقتي هيبدأ يشتغل او هيبدأ يشرح في المشروع بتاعنا اللي هو احنا جايين عشان النهارده، اللي هو عبارة عن مصدر هجين من الطاقة الشمسية مع الغاز الحيوي لتوليد طاقة حرارية نستخدمها في تحلية المياه. فهو ده فكرة مبسطة عنه.
Okay, this is basically the beginning. Is one of the initial. There was a lot of discussion between us how the best implement the system. So this is kind of a final result, and then I will discuss again what are the steps that we used. But Dr. Hyman already explained. No, this is simply solar collectors. We have heat storage, and then some of the heat will go to run the membrane distillation. If there is not heat enough, we use the biogas, okay, the complement. Some of the heat also will be used to maintain the temperature of the digester at a certain temperature. This is a design decision. We can run the digester at 30 degrees, 35, 55 degrees, okay? Each of them have different advantages. Biogas storage, and then here membrane distillation. Very simple. So only heat here, no electricity. Obviously we will need some electricity for running the pump, but it's a small amount. So with some photovoltaics we should be able to.
Translation.
هنا فايدة النظام الهجين ده هو طبعا زي ما احنا قلنا قبل كده ان الشمس مش متاحة طول اليوم، فاحنا هنستخدم الغاز الحيوي اثناء فترة عدم وجود شمس كافية او اثناء الفترة بتاعت بالليل. بالاضافة ان الشمس او الحرارة اللي بتولدها من المجمعات الشمسية هتستخدم في تخزين في تسخين الدايجستر او الجهاز اللي بيتولد فيه الغاز الحيوي، لان احنا بنحتاج نعلي درجته لحوالي 45 درجة او في بعض الاحيان من 55 ل 60 عشان نسرع من عمليه انتاج ايه؟ الغاز الحيوي او انتاج غاز الميثان من المخلفات بتاعتنا، بالاضافه ان احنا محتاجين نثبت درجه حراره ايه؟ عمليه التحويل دي، يعني محتاج ان هي تثبت عند درجه الحراره، فمحتاجين سورس حراره هناخده برضه من ايه؟ من الشمس. فده فايده النظام الاجري، نشتغل في حاله عدم وجود شمس هنشغل غاز حيوي، بالاضافه ان الشمس بتقوم بعمليه ايه؟ الحفاظ على درجه حراره التانك اللي هو بيتم فيه عمليه التحويل.
Thank you. Project steps, Dr. Herman already said, so we start with the theory, but then we go to experiment, and then with the experiment we validate again the theory. So at the moment we are just pure theory, but then at the end we will see how good was our theory. Okay? Overall approach, more or less, so what we do ourselves in Sheffield, we are building the model. So I will show a little bit of simple model, then Mohammed Ismail will show the real thing. Process model in the middle. What do we need to do this model? Well, we need first of all to describe the context. So we need to know how much water we need. That we discussed a lot. How much water we need. That's the main input. How much water we need per day and during the year. Bio-waste characterization, meaning what do we use? Do we use food waste, manure? Finally, okay, we use cattle manure. We decide that is the first thing. Ambient condition, obviously, and then technical data. So how well all the technical data of the membrane and the heat storage and etc. It's okay. I can do with the hands, but even better.
The battery.
The battery. We will do then, the idea what we want to do is finding, like in the same case before we were trying.
لازم نحط له بقى اليو بتاعه عشان طب شيل الاولاني بقى باليو اس بي خالص.
Process model, what we want to do, a decision is not obligatory, but again we want to find out what is the combination of those elements that we've seen before. What is the combination of this size, this size, this size, this size, this size? At the moment we don't know how big to do all of this, we really don't know, and so our approach is to do it by minimizing the life cycle cost of the water, no? Finding, for example, in this graph was in some initial, I won't go into the result, but some initial results we have to say, okay, if we put a lot of solar, it seems that the cost goes higher. And so maybe there is some situation where we can, to find how much biogas and how much solar to supply energy to our system. This all depends on this, how much it costs the system. We don't know at the moment yet exactly how much it costs to digest, how much it costs to operate. There is a bit of uncertainty now. So this is just an example. And then obviously we have some control that I will talk later, and then, okay.
دكتور دافيد عشان يبدأ المشروع فهيعمل موديل تكنو ايكونوميك موديل، هو بيدرس الاقتصاد مع حته التنميه. فالموديل ده هيحتاج انبوت، وهو عباره عن كميه الميه اللي محتاجينها قد ايه في اليوم. احنا هنصمم السيستم بتاعنا على 1 متر مكعب ميه في اليوم احنا محتاجينه. بالاضافه ان هو بيحدد البايوجاز او نوع المخلفات الحيوانيه اللي هو هيستخدمها، وغالبا احنا هنستخدم مخلفات اللي هي الماشيه. وبالاضافه ان الانبوت بتاع الموديل ده هيكون ايه الظروف الجويه بتاعت الشمس اللي بتدينا الطاقه اللي هنحصل عليها من الشمس بتاعنا. كل الانبوت دي بياخدها وبيستخدم القوانين الاساسيه للهيت القوانين الاساسيه للانرجي ايكويشن عشان يبدا يحسب ايه الاوتبوت بتاعت الموديل، ويحسب ويعمل سايزنج للموديل دوت. المعيار في السايزنج ده ان هو بيعمل اوبتمايزيشن لاقل كوست، اقل تكلفه هيحصل عليها من عمليه السايزنج، وهي دي اللي مقصود بيها لايف سايكل ووتر كوست. يبقى اقل سيستم هيديه اقل تكلفه هو ده السيستم اللي احنا هننشئه. والمقصود باللايف سايكل كوست دي هي التكلفه طبعا الاساسيه بتاعت شراء الحاجات، والتكلفه بتاعت الصيانه والتشغيل. فده المقصود، فده المعيار بتاعنا هو لايف سايكل ووتر كوست. فبناء على الاناليسيس اللي هو عمله قدر يوصل للتصميم بتاع المحطه المبين تحت دوت، وحدد ايه السعه بتاعت كل ايه وحده قد ايه. اتفضل.
YMD. Should I say something about this? Yes. YMD. Well, YMD because Dr. Ayman and his team are expert already on MD, so it's good that we collaborate. MD, obviously, MD has some advantages to other. MD is this for people that I discovered MD a few months ago, so it's very new for me as well. So I'm learning. So MD works like that: membrane desalination. Water cold enters, right? You can actually no. Let's start from here, okay? We have some hot water that enters in the membrane and evaporates, right? Evaporates to a membrane that is only permeable to vapor and not to liquid. The vapor goes, condense on this flat plate, let's call it like that, that is colder, and we produce distillate, drinking water. Right, comes up. Here comes cold, it enters and it takes the heat, okay, the heat of condensation, it gets preheated, so this heat is not lost. We recover it, okay, and it increases the temperature. Comes out already quite hot, right? And then we give his here a boost of energy, and this is the energy that externally source. What is it? Well, solar or biogas, as simple as that. And finish. So this is basically what we are doing. This is membrane distillation. The good thing is that obviously it works 60-80 degrees, so it's not very high temperature. We can reach it, okay? Especially with the solar collectors. And then if solar collectors are not enough, a little bit of biogas. Waste heat from cogeneration would be the best option, but at the moment we are not doing electricity, just thermal. And then obviously, okay, other stuff like, for example, compared to reverse osmosis, it is more resistant to high salinity and doesn't need so much pretreatment. Enough.
اوكي. هو هنا بيحكي عن تقنيه التحليه اللي احنا هنستخدمها. هي عباره عن تحليه باستخدام النظم الحراريه والاشياء ممبرين. بيعتمد على وجود فرق درجات حراره بين الميه اللي انت عايز تحليها والميه اللي هي السخنه اللي انت هتحلي بيها. فهو فكره عمله لانه في كذا تقنيه للتحليه، في تحليه عن طريق فرق ضغط وفي تحليه عن طريق فرق درجه حراره. السيستم اللي احنا هنستخدمه هنا عن طريق فرق درجه الحراره، لان ده اكتر سيستم مناسب مع مصدر الحراره اللي عندنا اللي هو ايه؟ الطاقه الشمسيه. لان احنا بنحتاج هنا درجه حراره 80 درجه تقريبا، فده يمكن الحصول عليها بايه؟ الطاقه الشمسيه والغاز الحيوي.
لا ويبدا اقل من كده كمان، يعني ممكن يبدا من 60 مش طبعا البرودكتيفيتي او الانتاجيه تبقى الرينج
ده بيعتمد ان عندك الميه اللي انت عايز تحليها داخله في السهم الازرق عند 20 درجه هنا، بتمشي بتخش الجزء اللي ماشيه فيه ده اسمه المكثف. فهي عباره بتخلي السطح الاسود اللي في النص ده درجه حرارته قليله. هاجي لها ايه بعد كده بتعدي على مبادل حراري على الشمال هنا. المبادل الحراري ده هو اللي احنا بنستخدم فيه مصدر الحراره اللي احنا عايزينها، جايه من ايه؟ من الشمس او جايه من ايه؟ من الغاز الحيوي. بيقوم مصدر الحراره دي مسخنه الستريم ده، بتخرجه عند كام؟ 80 درجه. بيبدا يعدي في الجزء بتاع التبخير من الام دي، من وحده الايه؟ الابشيه. فبيبدا نتيجه فرق درجات الحراره ال 80 عن اللي هي الستريم اللي ماشي بدرجه الحراره اللي يحصل ان البخار المتكون ممكن يعدي من غشاء ايه؟ اللي في النص ويتكثف على السطح الاسود من درجه حرارته، وبيخرج هنا على الهيئه، بيخرج اللي هو
ديستليت يعني هو الماء المسطره،
بيخرج المياه المقطره اللي تحت الزرقاء، وبتخرج الستريم الثاني ب 27 زي ما احنا شايفين.
ده براين بقى
The brine, yeah, the brine, which is would be a problem. Why biogas? Okay. The point is that obviously you can turn it on and off the biogas when it's needed, and then also there is all the aspect that you know we can use waste. So biogas is a way of treating some of the waste. So this system has this additional benefit of waste treatment. We explore different kind of design, okay, for the system at the beginning. This is the easiest. Okay, there is no biogas here, but okay, imagine that you have a boiler here, okay, but the idea is the same. So this is one loop system, very, very simple. You just need a solar collector, membrane, and the feed of the seawater. So let's follow the water. The water is fed into the membrane, it gets preheated, okay, 50 degrees, let's say. It can be more or less, it really depends on a lot of, it depends on the membrane. Then it gets the boost in the solar collector, it reaches the temperatures that we want, and finally enters into the membrane. It produces our distillate, and it goes back to the feed tank. It's very, very simple. No heat exchanger, no tanks, no nothing. Now, what are the problems? The problems is that here we need collectors that are resistant to seawater. Maybe they exist, maybe no, I'm not totally sure, but I think if they exist, they are a little bit more expensive. And then obviously, because there are no any single storage, heat storage, it really, the water production really is depending on the solar collector, and okay, you can compensate with the biogas. So it's a bit more difficult to control, okay? Two loops. The same as before, but now we separate. We have one loop for the solar collectors and one loop for the water. So in this way, any heat that is not used by the membrane, we store it and we use it later when there is not enough sun. Okay? The same concept more or less applied with the biogas. This is finally our initial final idea of the, yet could be modified, but it is the last iteration of the discussion we had in our group, in our project all together. So Dr. Herman already said, one loop solar collector, one loop biogas with the membrane. So if the temperature is not enough, we top up with the biogas. One loop separated for the digester. It can be the same, it can be connected and be just one big loop, but you know, just to make it a bit easier, the construction, just one loop for the digester, and then obviously the loop here of the water in the membrane. Goes up and down, very simple. Very simple. And then we have obviously feeding the digester, and obviously feeding the boiler with the biogas. What controller we have? We have the solar controller, which is standard in the solar collector. So we'll have a solar controller based on the difference of the temperature between heat storage and temperature in the solar collector. A controller which can be automatic or not, can be just based on some rule of thumb, which is based on how much, especially how much biogas we have in the storage. So if the storage goes down, we feed a bit more. It's not that easy, but it's more complex, but more or less it works like that. So biogas storage goes down, we feed more, so we can replenish. We always have enough biogas in the storage. And